Welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm your host, Chief David Molloy, Director of Public Safety for the City of Novi. I'm very honored here today to have joining me on set Captain John Martin with the Novi Fire Department. John, welcome.
Good morning, Chief.
John, why don't you tell the viewing audience a little bit about your background and how you come to be and serve in a role as captain with the department?
Well, I started out as a paid-on-call firefighter with the Macomb Township Fire Department back in the 90s, and I took a position as an auxiliary firefighter with the City of Novi. And from there, I was hired as the department training officer, and back in 2011, I was promoted to captain. So I'm a shift captain, run the one of the night shifts here at Novi Fire Department.
How about a little bit about your background in education and some of the specialized training that you've gone through?
Well, I'm fire trained, so I have my Fire 1, Fire 2 certifications, but I also teach. I'm an instructor in the state of Michigan. I'm a paramedic licensed in the state of Michigan. I'm also an instructor for paramedics, EMTs, specialists in the state of Michigan. It's a license that you have to hold. But I teach all the disciplines in fire-related practices and also EMS. I'm working towards my bachelor's in public safety administration with Eastern Michigan University currently. Hold all kinds of different ranks and titles and different things like that with regards to fire-related topics.
And you're also a graduate of the Fire Staff and Command program.
Correct. I graduated in 2010 from Fire Staff and Command, and now I'm an adjunct instructor there teaching incident command classes.
That's fantastic. That's a testament to your dedication, to your expertise, and the fact that you're always into learning something new every day. And you went to the Staff and Command back in 2010, and now find ourselves here in 2012, and you're actually teaching the new fire officers. So that's truly a credit to you and your expertise. So
thank you.
Tell us a little bit about, Captain, the Urban Search and Rescue Team. I know you're a member of that, and some of the training and background that you go through, as well as some of the call-outs that you've seen in the last couple of years.
Sure. Novi Fire Department is part of the Conference of Western Wayne Urban Search and Rescue Team. We also have the Hazardous Material Team also. It's consisted of 24 departments, and they come together basically to utilize resources, share resources, in specialized rescue. And that's anything from building collapse, which we were on the Wayne incident where the furniture store had blown up back in 2010, but also too is this trench rescue, confined space, rope rescue or high angle rescue, and then even machine rescue. So anything specialized is what we're dedicated to. But instead of having one department do everything, you have 24 different departments with trained individuals that all come together at any time there's a need, and they come out and take care of the situation.
And you're one of two members that we have on the team.
That is correct. There's one of the other firefighters and myself. In order to be on the team, it requires training. Some of us have had training coming into the team. Some of us had to receive training while on the team. It's roughly about 400 hours just to start off with in order to gain all the disciplines. And then after that, then there's continuous training, monthly basis, yearly basis. So there's a lot of stuff that credentials you have to keep up in training. And with anything, there's always things that are new, different things that come up. With technology, different tools and things like that too.
Yeah, and I think some people, it just kind of goes unnoticed, but I know in terms of trench rescue, we have people working underground virtually every day, whether it's with AT&T, our own water and sewer department, where the firefighters have to stand by for these types of things. And a lot of people don't really realize that that's actually required by the Office of Safety and Health Administration, so we're consistent and compliant with that.
Correct. And what we do is we just, even though that we are considered rescue resources, we are still held to a certain standard through MIOSHA in the state of Michigan. So we follow all the rules and laws. We train annually. We do everything that we're supposed to, even though we're not acting as we're doing work, we're actually there as a rescue purpose. But in confined space, it's something that our department even too is trained to the technician level. That's all 94 members have to go through that training on an annual basis.
And your background is it's outstanding because of the background you've had, not only as a part-time paid-on-call or an auxiliary firefighter, now as a captain. But I'd like to talk a little bit about your experience as our training officer, because
Sure.
you really have taken and took that program to new heights. So Talk to the audience a little bit about how you blended all that together with our full-time, our part-time, and our auxiliary staff.
Well, what I did was the topics, any topic that we had, we also are required to recertify our EMS licenses every 3 years. So what I was able to do is write lesson plans that would give credits to firefighters for whatever training that we were doing, as long as it related to the topic. So if we did vehicle extrication, we were doing EMS credits associated with that. Try to make things a little bit more realistic. We do have a training tower at our station number 4, which allows us to do a lot more training. We're not looking for houses a lot of times to just do search and rescue. We have the ability to put fake smoke inside of the building and send our firefighters in, try to make it more realistic, and try to give them that type of training as much as possible.
And I think another thing that kind of goes overlooked is the fact that we're training our full-time firefighters during the day, but with the combination department that we are, we have close to 60 paid-on-call firefighters who respond from their homes to a station on an incident, and staff stations. But we have to provide that training for them at night too. So oftentimes, 1 or 2 nights a week from 7 to 10, we're occupying that training facility as well.
Yeah, what we typically do is we offer the topic 5 times. That way we're hitting all the daytime staff. Also too is we're hitting the nighttime staff. But our paid-on calls and auxiliaries can come during the daytime, not just at night. So it's open to them at any point in time, whatever their schedule allows.
And I know our new training officer, Phil Desminski, he is doing an outstanding job, and a lot of that is a testament to the leadership and the preparation that not only you put in, but Captain Johnson when he was in that same position as a training officer. And I'm starting to see a trend here that people who move through these training officer positions, they're preparing themselves for higher positions of leadership, and you and Captain Johnson are 2 examples of that you're now operational captains in the department. So our hats are off to you for that.
Well, thank you. It's a dedication to the job, to the firefighters, to the department, and the citizens. And it's one of those things that once you start doing it, you can't stop.
Absolutely. I know recently, in the past couple months, we actually rented a flashover trailer from the Crest facility, and we were able to train a vast majority, if not more than 95% of our entire organization on being in an actual real fire. Can you speak to that real quick on what that felt like for you? And
well, it's hard a lot of times to duplicate actual fire conditions and all that. So what we did was we contracted with Oakland Community College, the Crest Center, to bring out their mobile flashover unit. And we had done that back in 2006 and decided to bring it back again. And what it does is it puts you into a more realistic atmosphere, but there's safety factors built into it so that the firefighters are actually safe, but you're still feeling the same heat, smoke, same circumstances that you normally would, so that you can recognize the flashover situation as it's occurring to prevent it from happening, so there's no injuries to any of the firefighters. So it's a real important training tool.
Yeah, and I know one of the great components of that, and hats off to Phil, the training officer, and Assistant Chief Loria, who worked on that together. We were able to utilize grant dollars to bring that down here, and we were able to train not only our personnel, but I believe about 35 or 40 other firefighters from surrounding municipalities, Wixom, Walled Lake, Brighton, a couple from Farmington Hills, and I believe Northville. So that was a great opportunity for us all the way around.
And it's one of those things that it doesn't happen very often where you're able to get that type of a resource, so it's great when you can and then share it with other surrounding communities.
Absolutely, which is everything what we're about in terms of resource sharing and consolidation. Yeah. We're going to take a real quick break here from Behind the Badge, and we'll be back momentarily.
Track 6. Do not leave bags unattended.
Maybe you see something suspicious, but you don't want to get involved. It's nothing, you think. Can you be sure? If you see something, say something. Report suspicious activity to local authorities.
Severe weather can destroy a home in seconds. There's no time to think, only time to act. Have a kit so you're ready for any emergency. Develop a plan for what you and your family will do before disaster strikes, and stay informed during severe weather any way you can. It can be the difference between losing your possessions and losing your life. Just ask the owners of this house. Visit Ready.gov for ways to prepare your family for emergencies.
Welcome back to Behind the Badge. I'm continuing to be joined here by Captain John Martin of the Novi Fire Department. Captain, one of the trainings that we have coming up for a vast majority of our city staff, particularly our leadership positions and the deputies in the organizations, is the National Incident Management System. Can you tell the viewing audience why we're participating in that and how that's going to, what goal that's going to accomplish in terms of our emergency preparedness?
Sure. One of the requirements for any type of municipality that's receiving a federal grant money is to be NIMS compliant, National Incident Management System compliant. And there's been a series of classes or courses over the years that a municipality has to be compliant with, and that's all their administrative staff, and even too is their municipal employees. And what has happened is over the years, a lot of the stuff was done online. So some of the courses are online type classes, which is really great. Unfortunately, the 300, 400 level, which are more the administration level, are face-to-face type classes. But the advantage with it is what it does is it brings all aspects together. And that's the idea behind the whole process of the NIMS, is so that we're all working off the same platform, we're using the same language for whatever type of situation. So it doesn't matter if it's a finance person with a firefighter, everybody can talk the same language, all the resources are the same exact, the forms are the same at all. Excuse me, and also at the end of it, the idea is so that when there's an allocation of dollars that go to replenish whatever was used or bring back the situation as far as recreating it, money is brought in through the federal government to recoup costs,
And
cost
really,
recovery.
Yeah, and this is really kind of this has been born out of post 9/11.
That is correct.
Post Katrina, and really, I remember the blackout we had in Southeast
2003.
Michigan 2003, where the Emergency Operations Center here in the city of Novi, and we have those very same positions from the city manager's office, the elected officials. Now we've even expanded that to where we have some of the utility companies following the blackout. So we had those connections with DTE to figure out why this is occurring, what the timeline was for getting it back. But I think what often goes overlooked is the fact that there's an administration that still has to be run, whether we're buying water, whether we're buying other facilities, renting generators. I know we were actually assisting a couple local businesses in transporting generators safely because they were in such high demand at the time. So this is actually a great training, and I think it's outstanding because it brings together all those people. Think in the event of an emergency, fire and police, maybe even sometimes Department of Public Services or Public Works. But really, it's the behind the scenes, the declarations that have to be made on the county level, first on the local to county to state, and then the declaration of a federal disaster that allows us to recoup those dollars.
Right, and that's part of the whole process is the recovery of any type of disaster, be it man-made or be it natural disasters.
Great. Talk to us a little bit about, we have a combination fire department.
Sure.
We have roughly 28 full-time members from the director to our fire protection officers who are working during the day, full-time positions. We have roughly 61, 62 paid on call, live in the community, respond from their homes, do staff 2 of our stations during the night, 6 at night till 6 in the morning. And then we have a cadre of auxiliary officers that work and supplement not only our daytime shift, but our nighttime. Talk about our paid on call recruitment that we have going on right now.
Sure, we're always in the need of paid on call firefighters to respond. Hopefully, obviously, within the local jurisdiction, but we do require them to live within a mile outside of the boundaries of Novi. We want them to assist us. We're always in need of people so that we can continue our resources. We understand people have busy lives and stuff like that, but we also need to still run our fire department and make it more efficient. What we try to do is we try to look for people that already have their current certifications. Fire 1, Fire 2 in the state of Michigan, basic EMT and hazardous material operations. But we also do hire a lot of people that do not have the training. So what we then do is we work with other departments, neighboring departments typically, and we build a consortium so we can offer the training that's more cost effective. We utilize the same instructors, we put as many people in as we possibly can, and then what we estimate is anywhere from about 16 to 18 months they'll receive all of their training. At that point in time, then we allow them to integrate into the resources, make the runs, do that kind of stuff. We have a probationary period. We have some checks and balances that they have to take care of before we consider them off probation. But we integrate them in so that we can utilize their resources, that we need their help as much as possible.
Yeah, and we've taken that recruiting kind of to the next level, again, using safer grant fundings, federal grant funds. We've been able to put together recruiting brochures and marketing materials, and we have that at community colleges, we have that at various campuses throughout, not only Novi, but at the library. People can pick those up at police headquarters, at the Rock or Suburban Collection Showplace. We have
Ice Arena,
those
we
at
also
the
have
Ice
those
Arena.
there.
So people see that and they say, hey, I think I'm up for that challenge.
And we do receive a lot of phone calls. A lot of people will stop by, ask us questions, even on runs. You're out and about and they just want to stop you and just find out more about the position and all that. It does take a lot of dedication. It's not something that we want you to respond. We want you to help us. So it takes a commitment. First, it's a commitment of your time and from your family too, to get the training, the initial training, if you don't already have it. And then after that, we continuously train on a monthly basis. Runs come in. We do have percentages of runs that you have to meet. But it's a great opportunity. It's a great team. That's what we're all about, is working together as a team. We're always in need of help.
That's great. That's great. And if people want to look for that, they can visit our website at cityofnovi.org under the Public Safety tab, click on Fire, and there's tons of resources there as well. One final thing I'd like to talk about, and I know you're very active and involved in the Fire Department Strategic Plan. We adopted that back in 2011, the first strategic plan that I'm aware of ever created in the Fire Department. Can you talk to the audience a little bit about what are we looking to accomplish there, and what's the roadmap?
What we want to do is we want to develop a vision for the department. It's something that, everybody always asks, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? And you want to be able to say, hey, this is where we're going to be, as opposed to where we would like to be or we think we're going to be. So what it does is it builds that roadmap for us so that we have something to look at, checks and balances, so we make sure that we're following that path, we're checking those things off. A lot of it is building from within. Not looking to the outside, we're looking from within, the strengths that we have from all of our people, from all aspects of the department, to be able to move this department forward.
And I think that's the greatest part of the whole thing, is we have so many smart, educated, talented men and women, part-time, paid on call, full-time. Two recent examples, Fire Protection Officer Kevin Pierce. We now do probably close to 250 child safety seat inspections. Yes. Kevin's taken that program and said, I want to lead that. We have, I believe, 4 or 5 other safety belt technicians, car safety seat inspectors, and recently at Fall for Novi, we did 11 additional inspections. About a month and a half ago, we hosted Station 4, where I think we did 38 inspections, gave out about 10 car seats to replace ones that were faulty, and that's the type of dedication. Firefighter Dan Schultz has taken the lead and the initiative in training not only some of our current men and women, but also our newer fire protection officers and our firefighters on aerial operations and utilizing our aerial apparatus and our ladder. And it's harnessing that, because you don't have the time to do it all, I don't have the time, and the other command staff, but it's recognizing that we have that talent within.
Yes, and we have so many people with so many different talents, all kinds of different things that we need to tap those resources, and that's what the strategic plan's all about.
Tell me a couple of the items that you're working on that you may have touched in the last couple months in terms of the strategic plan's not a master task list, but it's like you say, it's that roadmap on where we need to go for 3 to 5 years.
Sure. One of the things I've been tasked with is the customer service. One of those things that we're in the public's eye at all times. We're dealing with the public on a daily basis. We have more interaction than most people do. And it's coming up with one way, a simple way that we all work from to work with the public. And what I did was I came up with a PowerPoint presentation, and I utilized a program that we purchased back when I was a training officer called Articulate. And what it simply does is it takes a PowerPoint, makes it into a training, and at the end there's a series of questions that have to be answered in order to pass it. And what we do is we utilize that as a way to say the person's been trained, gone through this kind of stuff, they're all operating off the same platform.
Yeah, and that's outstanding, because that type of distance learning not only saves us dollars, it saves us time. We don't have to have everybody here in a particular building or at a specific classroom to take the class. They can do it at a computer, and I think the next step is we want to try to find ways that even some of the firefighters can do it from home or from an alternate site where they could dial in and access that. So I thank you for your leadership on that and for everything you do for the entire organization. You're truly a credit to public safety and one of the premier experts in the delivery of emergency services. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Chief.
And to you, the viewing audience, thank you for tuning in to Behind the Badge, and we would encourage you to keep watching Novi Television.